Well, Poland is offering to supply Ukraine with German-made Leopard tanks as part of an international coalition. The announcement follows talks between Polish President Andrzej Duda and Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelenskyy on Wednesday. The pledge puts pressure on Germany, which has so far refused to deliver the advanced tanks to Ukraine itself.
Ukraine needs heavier weapons. That has been Kyiv's message to its Western allies for months. Top of the list, the German-built Leopard 2 battle tank. So far, Western nations have been reluctant, fearing further escalation with a nuclear-armed Russia. But that might be all about to change.
After months of intense fighting, Russia says it's captured the eastern Ukrainian town of Soledar. The area has been pounded for weeks by Russian fire. As you can see here, in fact, it's seen some of the most intense battles of the entire war. Ukraine denies Russia has full control, saying its forces continue to resist. Well, it's the first Ukrainian town Russia has claimed to have captured since July, after 6 months of military setbacks. The next target of the Russian offensive could be nearby Bakhmud, in preparation for an assault on the key city of Kramatorsk.
The discovery of a second batch of classified documents, this time inside the garage of President Joe Biden's private residence, has made it difficult for Biden to quell this latest political controversy.
People know I take classified documents and classified material seriously.
White House lawyers revealed the documents were found recently and relate to Biden's time as vice president under President Barack Obama. The White House lawyers insist they immediately turned the documents over to the National Archives. Still, the Department of Justice is appointing U.S. Attorney Robert Hur as special counsel to investigate whether Biden broke the law.
We start with some breaking news from Lithuania, where an explosion has damaged a key natural gas pipeline. Flames up to 50 meters high were seen shooting from the Amber Grid pipeline in northern Panevėžys County. The pipeline's operator says it's on no indications of sabotage, but that supplies to northern Lithuania and neighboring Latvia could be disrupted. No injuries have been reported, but a nearby village has been evacuated.
What we know, and which is clearly plays a big role in this, is that he's a British-Iranian dual national, and that is not recognized by the Iranian authorities. So Ali Reza Akbari, who was sentenced to death in Iran, we now know, according to the authorities in Iran, has been executed. The signs were not good earlier this week because Mr. Akbari's family had been asked to go to his prison for what Iran called his final visit, and that was on Wednesday. And his wife said that he had been moved to solitary confinement.
The home of the king of rock and roll, and where Lisa Marie lived out her childhood at the height of her father's fame. A spokesperson for her daughter, Riley Keough, confirming that Lisa Marie Presley will be buried at Graceland alongside Elvis and her son Benjamin, who took his life in 2020.
Engine 125, squad 68, full arrest.
Paramedics taking less than 6 minutes to respond to the call from her Southern Californian home, where she was living with ex-husband, her first, Danny Keough, when she collapsed. Her second husband, Nicholas Cage, said her death was devastating. She lit up every room, and I am heartbroken.
In order to cope with months-long financial crisis, Sri Lanka has decided to cut its army by half. The island nation is still reeling from months of food and fuel shortages that made daily life a misery for its 22 million people last year. The Sri Lankan Defence Ministry announced that it will drastically slash its military. The Defence Ministry added that it would retire 65,000 soldiers from its 200,000 strong army over the year. The cuts make up the lion's share of plans to downsize Sri Lanka's land forces to 100,000 by the end of the decade.
A rescue mission to bring their astronauts back home. NASA and the Russian space agency Roscosmos will be sending an unmanned spacecraft to the International Space Station next month.
The State Commission has decided to launch the Soyuz MS-23 spacecraft in February in an unmanned mode and with cargo delivery to the ISS. The mission of Russian cosmonauts Sergei Prokopyev and Dmitry Peterlin, as well as NASA astronaut Frank Rubio, has been extended. They will return with the MS-23 spacecraft.